Welcome to another episode of the 5,000 Role Models TV show. I'm your host, Dr. Marcus Bright, and today we will continue to explore the many aspects of the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence project, both in Miami-Dade County and in Broward County. We're pleased to be joined now by the 5,000 Role Model Site Director at Miami Northwestern Senior High School, Mr. Ted McCray, and the 5,000 Role Model Site Director for South Dade Middle School, Mr. James Melvin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Glad to be here.
You all are from two very different and distinct areas of Miami-Dade County. Can you talk about those areas and how do the neighborhoods where the schools are located impact what goes on in the school?
One of the things that is very, very strong we look at is the fact that our area is very heavily moved by the community. The community has a lot to do with our school, and it's a community-based school. We have
Your area is Liberty City, right?
I'm Liberty City.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Liberty City. We have a lot going on down there culturally, and we try to make sure that those kids who work from disadvantage gets a fair shot at moving in education.
Down in Homestead Middle, South Dade Middle in Homestead, the Redland area is predominantly rural, and a lot of our kids have parents that are working two jobs that can always support them in doing extracurricular activities. So, transportation becomes an issue, and being able to contact and being in contact with the kids becomes premium throughout the day because they can't always stay after school and be involved in athletics or whatnot. So, I mean, we do our best to try to get them the transportation they need, but it becomes really important to see them throughout the day and get as much exposure to them as far as different interests that they have.
A great illustration of the diversity, not just of people, but also of geographic areas within the same county, Miami-Dade. So rural, South Dade, inner city, Liberty City. What are some things that you all do to help keep your students engaged in the 5,000 Role Models chapter?
We just finished the program with the hurricane relief. We had the boys to work on bringing in water and supplies that we could ship over to the Bahamas. It was a great program. We worked with the firefighters that were close to our school. Wow. We collected a great deal of funds, and we sent it over to the fire department, and they shipped it out to them. Community is so important. I just connected with the principal at Holmes Elementary, where my boys will be going over to tutor the other 5,000 Role Model elementary boys maybe once a month on Saturday.
That is so important. And just to give viewers some context, Holmes Elementary School and Miami Northwestern both border a very large public housing development of the Liberty Square housing project, which is actually the largest housing project in the Southeast. And so to see that kind of interaction is wonderful. Mr. Melvin.
Well, being the athletic director and physical education teacher and coach of several sports, I try to keep my boys involved in everything that I'm doing so that I can see them more often because, our meetings are once a week. I get a chance to touch base with them and check on their grades and check in with them just on a personal level, find out how they're feeling, how things are going. But by keeping them involved in athletics and extracurricular things after school, then I have more contact hours with them, so I can have those personal conversations with them. I can see how they handle adversity. I can teach them, to deal with wins and losses and whatnot, which life is about, being able to handle the ups and downs and knowing how to deal with those things. So that's my primary source of making sure I stay in contact with them and keep them engaged and involved.
Now, Mr. McCray, I know that your entire Miami Northwestern chapter at some points have gone to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for both you and the boys?
Unbelievable. One of the things that happened that we still talk about, being able to see the activities that happen in legislation. Some of the boys have never seen how bills were passed, never seen how Congress works and all of that. They got a chance to walk around the Capitol building and see and actually sit in on some of the dialogue that was going on inside of the Capitol building. Mm-hmm. So when they came out of there, I think they were really engaged. They were really uplifted to know that they are part of something that is on that level and of that magnitude.
And one of your students, Ricky Pope, actually testified in front of Congress.
Wow. Yeah, Ricky Pope now is a student at Florida Memorial. He actually got a chance to testify and speak in front of Congress and everything. It was a great experience. But I have one story. A young man, his name is Sandruni. He just became. He just went to school to become an FBI agent.
Wow.
He was with the first group that went to Washington, and we're very proud of his. He went to school at the University in Florida. I'm trying to say Orlando.
Okay, wow.
Orlando.
Okay. And I know so many of your young men have transitioned on to higher education and to just success in career and in college. Mr. Melvin, where do your students typically go for middle school, and what kind of success stories have you seen?
Well, from South Dade Middle, our kids feed predominantly into South Dade Senior. Some go on to Homestead Middle, Homestead Senior, and some to South Ridge. As far as success stories, I think the biggest way for me to define success for my students is knowing that they've gone off and they're pursuing a career, they're pursuing a trade, that they're working and being involved in their communities, that they're putting their best foot forward to be family men. Mm-hmm. And so these are the people that I've been able to come in contact with, and the way that I've been able to see them progress is through social media. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when I started 23 years ago, we didn't have social media, and I never really knew what happened to my students. But now I can check in on them and see how they're progressing as family men, if they have children, if they're working at a particular job, and what career path that they've taken. And so that's success for me, that we've interrupted that pipeline that we talk about, that school to jail pipeline. And so if they're doing anything other than that, if they're being positive in their community, then we've done our part, and that's success.
And you all have provided such a critical safety net. You know, speaking of Washington, D.C., our last trip was on a panel with national media analyst Jeff Johnson. He reached out to me and said that someone in Miami-Dade County had reached out and said that her son needed a mentor. And I said, what school is he at? And he said South Dade Middle School. And so the next day went to South Dade Middle School, connected the young man with Mr. Melvin, and now he's a 5th grader, but now he'll be in a structure that's going to be with him and to assist him all the way through high school. And that's the power of the 5,000 role models. What are the goals for the students in your chapter? What goals do you have for them?
Because of the inner city and because of the challenges that my young men face, we are working with one word this year. This word is called acceptance. Trying to get my young men to understand that they need to develop, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I think one of the strongest things that happen is that sometimes life deals you a hand, and it's how you play that hand that makes the difference. So I try to encourage them to make sure that they understand that the first rule of the game is to accept the challenge, accept what's in front of you, not try to be divisive and work around it. Sometimes you got to understand the power that comes within you works through it. So that's our word this year, acceptance.
So you making lemonade over there. When life gives you lemons, you teaching them how to make lemonade.
That's right.
With a milk.
I guess the biggest goal for me is to make sure that my boys, because I'm at the middle school level, so we're working with a maturity thing, making sure they're consistent, being in class, getting their grades, not just coming to school for the social hour. And like I said, I like them to be involved. So whether it's athletics or some kind of extracurricular activity after school, student government, clubs, we have several clubs to be involved in, I want them to be a part of that. So that's my biggest goal. Making sure that they are a part of the school environment in a positive way, making sure that they're handling their business on a personal level.
Well, thank you all so much for the very pivotal role that you play in the 5,000 role models in creating a better way of life for the next generation. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by mentor and 5,000 role model site director from Miami Central Senior High School, Andre Jackson, and Miami-Dade College freshman student and former 5,000 role model, Stefan Fatal.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
We're pleased to be joined now by the site director at Miami Central Senior High School for the 5,000 role models, Mr. Andre Jackson, and former 5,000 role model student and current freshman at Miami-Dade College, Mr. Stefan Fatal. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So, Mr. Fatal, what was your experience like as a 5,000 role model at Miami Central Senior High School?
I would say it was very impactful and inspiring because you get to be along Mr. Jackson's side, and then he's always on top of you to make sure that your grades is on point, and then also like for my senior year, making sure that the deadlines was meet for scholarships and also for college applications.
Mr. Jackson, what kind of activities and programming do you all do with the role models at Central?
Well, we do a variety of things. We host the tie tying ceremony every year, and that kind of gives the kids an opportunity to display their leadership skills. You know, it's a lot of schools involved, a lot of mentors, a lot of parents, and they have to organize everything. So they get an opportunity to participate in that. We also do Thanksgiving turkey drives, where we give out turkeys to families in need. We've participated in Christmas toy drives. We've been to several prison tours.
What were those like, the prison tour?
The prison tours, you know, we actually just left one yesterday, and those are very powerful. You know, they get an opportunity to really speak to real individuals who have taken a turn, didn't necessarily follow the path that you know that was kind of set out for them, or the positive path. A lot of them made mistakes and kind of ended up in the position that they're in, and now they get the opportunity to share some knowledge, wisdom, and wealth, as I call it, with these individuals who, you know, to kind of prevent them from going down that same path. So those are always impactful and powerful.
Mr. Fatal, how has your experience been here at Miami-Dade College, and how do you think the 5,000 role models prepared you for your experience in higher education?
My experience at Miami-Dade College has been a great experience because the 5,000 role model prepared me to be more of a visual learner and an outspoken leader in my classroom. So whenever there's a task that's being made, or if there's a club or a leadership that's being made, I'm always like the first one to go for it.
Speaking of leadership, you were the president when you were at Miami Central. What kind of lessons in leadership did you learn from your tenure as the president of your chapter?
I would say it was very impactful. Knowing that, you know, I started my 9th grade year as president, and seeing like a lot of the sophomores, even people that was like in front of me, reach to their potential in life and becoming in college, or even becoming an Army veteran or Army.
And I know that you all meet consistently every week at Central, and you all have had some great guest speakers. Can you talk about some of the guest speakers that you've had at your meetings?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, and I'm sure Stefan can allude to it as well, but we've had a lot of guest speakers. I have to give Stefan all the credit when it comes to that, because he's relentless in pursuing certain individuals. He's reached out to celebrities, to former collegiate players. We've had NFL players, music artists. We've had it all, and most of that is in large part to Stefan just not being afraid to hear no. Just being relentless in his efforts to, expose our students, our role models to, different walks of life, different individuals, people that they may not ever, get close to. You know what I'm saying? And he's been, so those experiences have always been powerful, just to kind of hear, those life lessons from, individuals that a lot of our students look up to.
What motivated you to be that relentless in trying to really create opportunities for your chapter, creating opportunities for others? What led you to do that?
What led me to do that was I was just sitting home and then just seeing other people coming from their different cities or different towns, and to speak of how they became somebody in life. And I wanted to do the same thing for my role models, knowing that somebody came from your city and you could be the same person today to be somebody famous in life. And I continue that method, even though I may stay up late or just trying to find somebody just so I could contact them so that they could come and speak to us and give us like a word of wisdom.
What are your aspirations in life? What do you hope to achieve?
My achievement goal is to become accounting and also get my real estate license, and also come back in the community so I could build a scholarship fund for those who is in need.
You are certainly on your way. What do you see for the future of the 5,000 role models at Miami Central Senior High School?
Right now, my focus is just building capacity, and I think that's something that we need to all invest in as a community, is investing in capacity building. And simply put, what that means is that if I build my capacity, so for example, if I'm in the gym and I'm on the dip bar and I'm doing my dips, because I've gained a certain amount of strength from doing dips, I can now just naturally do push-ups. You see what I'm saying? So the more I perfect a certain skill, it opens me up to be naturally engaged and good in just certain areas. And so whether it be public speaking, because I'm a good public speaker, I can now be the president of not only the 5,000 role models, but maybe student government. Because I lead meetings, I can now speak in front of the assembly or the auditorium, when everyone gathers together. So just building capacity, that's what I'm all about. And that's what we're currently working on at Miami Central.
Miami Central, really known nationally for producing NFL stars, Devontae Freeman and Dalvin Cook. What is your relationship between athletics and academics at Central, and how can we tap into the excellence that has been produced on the gridiron and transfer that into other areas of life for our young men?
I think that balance is extremely important. And I know as a former high school athlete, I struggle with finding that balance as well. But it's extremely important that we put student first, and athlete comes second. And so just pushing, it's a constant push. We're always pushing academics and ensuring that our students understand the seriousness of their studies, because this is just a stepping stone into another direction. Everybody may not take the same direction, but we're building a foundation. And the academic part is just laying that foundation so that I now have the ability to make a decision to do something like accounting, like Stefan is doing, or any path I decide to take in life.
President Fatal, what would your message be to any 5,000 role model students who are coming up the ranks behind you? What would your message be to them as we close out this segment?
My message would be to be yourself and practice what you preach every single day. And if you believe in the man above, and everything is possible through him.
Amen. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Up next, the 5,000 role models has grown like wildfire in Broward County Public Schools. We'll be joined by the coordinator, Mr. Antonio Burgess.
Miami-Dade College has career paths in anything you want to be. What's your story? Be global. Be cutting edge. Be inventive. Be investigative. Be a hero. What do you want to be? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
We are honored to be joined now by the coordinator of the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project in Broward County Public Schools, Mr. Antonio Burgess. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Mr. Burgess, what's going on in Broward County?
Hey, we are on the move, we are rolling, we are impacting lives, we are making a difference. This year we have a little over 20 schools that we are in, which is an increase from last year. Over the course of the 3 years that we've been in Broward, we have steadily seen an increase of schools that are participating in this program, 5,000 Role Models of Excellence, because it's making a difference.
What would you attribute such a rapid growth to?
You know, I thought about that, and what I noticed was that a lot of principals talk. And one of the things we make sure that we get buy-in from the school leader, because that's going to make a difference in the effectiveness and how strong and the support of the program in the building. And principals talk, community partnerships, they talk, they see us on social media, and it has created an environment and a communication blur that has ignited different schools in our county that want to participate in this program. I can barely count the number of emails I get from not just traditional public schools, but private schools, our charter schools. They are increasingly growing because the work that we're doing is making a difference in the community.
You've certainly done an outstanding job, along with Mr. David Watkins, your superintendent, Mr. Robert Runcie at Broward County Public Schools. And it means so much. The 6th largest school district in the country, Broward, Miami-Dade, the 4th largest. Examples of the scalability of the 5,000 role models. What would you say to other school districts across the country who may be looking to implement the 5,000 role models? What are some steps that they should take to prepare themselves to take on the 5,000?
Well, I believe it first starts with the head. And the head is like our superintendent, Mr. Robert Runcie. He saw the vision, he saw the need. He looked at the data, and the data told him something, and he wanted to make sure that he bring a program such as 5,000 Role Models that will provide the interventions and supports needed for this targeted group of students. And then our chief of student support initiatives, Dr. Antoine Hickman, he shares that same vision with our superintendent, along with our director of equity and diversity, which is where 5,000 Role Models of Excellence is housed. You definitely want buy-in from those school-based stakeholders. You definitely want buy-in from community leaders, such as your chief of police, your churches and organizations, your nonprofit organizations that are in your community. You definitely want buy-in from them because you're going to be partnering with them. Mm-hmm. Get your family and community engagement department involved in soliciting support from those different various groups in your community. Build a team, look at the data that's in your district, and put a plan in place.
You all have certainly put a plan in place and executed. You all are doing so many things. I mean, I look up and you're getting off the Goodyear blimp and planes and big time media outlets and in courthouses. What are some of the activities that students in Broward County are engaged in with the 5,000 Role Models?
Well, one of the things we like about 5,000 Role Models is that the access and the exposure and the experiences that it provides to this targeted group of students, which is very, very important. We have partnered with several different organizations, such as Dunkin' Donuts, to do our Dads and Donuts, where we have invited over 500 fathers out to take a more active role in the lives of children. Not only that, these fathers are committing to be role models for the students in their schools. We have started a mentoring through literacy initiative where our 5,000 role model secondary schools, middle and high schools, will be doing book studies, and we'll have authors coming in and doing workshops with them around different social skills that are tied into the book, the text. We are also doing our Historical Black Colleges and University initiative, where we are providing access to our students to expose them to the different academic and engaging programs that are at historical black colleges and universities. And that initiative provides college tours through outside of the Tri-County area for the spring and the fall of each school year. So that's another great initiative that we're doing. We're continuing our roundtable discussions where we bring in different community organizations and different community leaders to have small group instructions, small group conversations with the boys around different topics such as academic, mental health, college and careers, social skills, police and youth, how to interact with law enforcement. So we're doing a lot of different things that provides the interventions and supports that are needed for our boys.
What a holistic repertoire of activities, experience,
Absolutely.
exposure, as you said, there in Broward County. I certainly salute you all for what you have in place and what's to come. What is to come in Broward County? What do you see for the future of the 5,000 role models in Broward County Public Schools?
You know, when I met with my site directors, I showed them a video on mentoring and the effects of it that it has on children and just the power of relationships. And I charged them with saying that, you know, we are game changers. We are game changers. And I challenged them to do more, reach more, you teach more. And that's what we're going to continue to do in our district with the support of our superintendent, our chief of school, student support initiatives, and my director, Mr. David Watkins. We both share this same vision. We're going to continue implementing, impacting lives, and making a difference.
You all have certainly been game changers, and you're laying the blueprint for the expansion of the 5,000 role models nationally. So thank you very much for all that you do. Any last words for any game changers out here?
Listen, make sure it's something that you love to do, something that you really have a passion about. It's important to build capacity on your school-based level and district level. Partnerships are important. Communication, collaboration are important. You know, just continue to do those things, and you know, we'll continue to make a difference and impact lives and change the trajectory for so many students, boys that look like us.
We are
5,000.
We are
5,000.
Miami-Dade, Broward County.
It's bigger than us.
It's bigger than us.
Oh yes.
If you want to get involved with the nation's premier dropout prevention and mentorship program, the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project, give us a call at 305-995-2451, extension 2, or visit www.5000rolemodels.com. We hope that you get involved with the 5,000 Role Models. Until next time.